Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Pastor Tony White. I'm out here outside in sunny San Antonio the day after Thanksgiving 2017, trying to do some work on my Dodge Ram 1500 truck, which is 2009. Just probably about a month ago, maybe longer, as it started to get cold here in San Antonio. But it is a beautiful day today. Of course, the sun is shining behind me, and I'm standing on the passenger side of my truck right now, but it's probably about 60 degrees out here. It's really nice. It's supposed to get up to about 70 today. But in any case, I didn't come out here to talk about the weather, but about my truck. And I just noticed my heater wasn't working. And even when the heater stopped working, when it started to get a little cold here in San Antonio, then I heard this knocking in my truck as well that was coming from the dashboard area. And I'm not a mechanic by any stretch of the imagination. I kind of do the basics with cars in terms of oil change and filling the fluids and doing all that other stuff. But I pay other people to work on my car if my car needs working on, especially if I know it is something that I just not equipped to do mentally, physically, emotionally. But in any case, I'm gonna turn my vehicle on, so if you have this same sound, see if I can get it while I got the camera rolling. There you go. And you hear that knocking close. So I kind of put two and two together. It's like, okay, I realized when I started hearing that knocking, my heater wasn't working. And so I'm one that, like when I heard this knocking, I'm thinking, is there some kind of critter up in there knocking, saying, hey, let me out of here. But I'm saying, hey, the car's running, I keep it moving, but I realized that at the time I heard that knocking, the heater wasn't working. Being here in San Antonio in October, November, you don't use the heater much, but when the temperature dips on those certain days, and plus I was out early in the morning driving, and that's when I needed the heater, I just realized it wasn't working. So after doing my YouTube research, a couple of folks said it could be the actuator, if I'm pronouncing that right, the blend actuator. And so with the knock-in, naturally, that is what it appears to be. So here's my glove box. I thought it would be a challenge to take this off, but it really isn't. Had to look at a couple of videos to do that. And again, this is a 2009. You can hear that thing still knocking, and I got the vehicle turned off. So I discovered it is kind of right behind here, this glove box. But this glove box is easy. You just kind of press these things in on one side here, as well as the other side. And voila, the glove box comes right off. And so here's that actuator that needs to come out. That's bad. And I believe it's this part right here. And again, if I turn the vehicle on, you'll see where that knocking has happened. If it starts up again. Well, it's not doing it this time. It decided to get camera shy, but But this thing here, this little white piece, plastic piece here, is what's not turning, and it's actually just kind of knocking up against this other plastic piece, which is making the noise. And I know that because before filming, I've already taken this off and watched it in action when I, turned the vehicle on. So it looked like this thing is only screwed down by a couple of screws, one right here and then one up there, and then probably have to disconnect it here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, pull this out. All right, folks, so I then got the actuator got it loose, unbolted. Here it is, still hanging on by this connection here with the wires that I'm going to disconnect. But it was just those two screws, as I pointed out, one here at the top. I needed this small screwdriver to be able to get in there because of where the glove compartment is kind of cut. Couldn't use a longer screwdriver, but I was able to use a longer screwdriver, and they both were Phillips, to unloose that screw. And there you can tell that, yeah, this actuator was bad, as it's missing the groove right there, as you can see it here, and the rest of that is missing, and that's why it's not catching on to that thing, and this thing is, making that sound because it's not turning, to open up the door for the heat to come out, if that makes any sense. Because again, I'm not a professional mechanic. I'm kind of figuring this out, just trying to save some money. When I went to the parts store yesterday, when I just asked for one for an actuator, they were like, well, there are many for this type of vehicle, and that's why I need to pull this one out, take it to them. They'll look at it, hopefully have this in stock, give it to me, and I can just come back and put it back in. So I'm going to do that. Get back to you. All right, I'm back. I then went to the store and got a new actuator. Yeah, they have so many different types and models. It took a minute to pair up a new one with the old one. As you can see, this one looks a little bit bigger than this one, but according to the make and model and VIN number of the truck, this is the one. And one thing I noticed too, that I pointed out earlier, how this is missing this little piece there, but it's missing here as well. So that may not have anything to do with why this actuator isn't working. It may be because what this appears to me as I flip them over is like maybe some kind of motor or transmission in there. Got this bee out here buzzing around my head. But in any case, maybe it just went bad on the old one, which is the one in my hand, and I'm gonna set there, and then of course the new one will work fine because I could see where it would go in. If I can get a clearer picture, yeah, where that will be working just fine. So I'm gonna stop recording, put in the new actuator, and see what happens. Alrighty, I didn't put in the new actuator, and that's it right there. There's the old, there's the new. And so I'm gonna start it up, see what happens. See if I can keep the camera there while I reach over and turn the truck on. All right, there's no no thumping sound. That's what it was doing before. So now the big test is let's turn the heater on, because that's I was absolutely, or I should say I was getting absolutely no heat whatsoever. So the heater's on, and there you can see it moving. Before it was getting stuck right about there, just banging up against that. and I put my hands on the vent and praise the Lord Jesus, I got some heat. Yay! Do my happy dance. And so there you have it. That was my problem. Changing out the what's called the air door actuator, and that heat feels good. Turn my vehicle back off, and so I just have to put the glove box in, put that back in, put my stuff back in my glove box, and I'm able to drive around in my truck. As again, I got a Dodge Ram 2009. To be able to drive around as it gets cool and cold. And there's my glove box I got laying on the ground. Again, that's very easy to, just as it was to take out to put back in. Just have to kind of, if I can do it, yeah, press these things in on the side there. There's no screws, no nuts or bolts or anything, and you line those things up right there as they kind of clamp on to what's on the inside here. And I just do that right now, right there. But anyway, I can't do it while I'm holding the phone and recording. But that's it, folks. That's a wrap. So I hope if you don't have any heat in your vehicle and you hear that thumping sound, or if you don't hear the thumping sound, but that's just one thing to check, because I did all the basics. Check my fluids, antifreeze, the radiator, and all that good stuff, and it was full. But of course, with the knocking sound of this actuator, the old one, that was it. So thanks for watching. God bless you, and hope you have a wonderful day. And as we approach this winter 2017, 2018, stay warm inside and out, and enjoy the holiday season coming up. God bless.